Okay guys, so let's continue our path morphology. And path morphology we study that inflammation. So here we will study about the inflammation. So what is the inflammation? Inflammation, remember we have 5 types: cathedral inflammation, serous inflammation, hemorrhagic, purulent, and fibrinous inflammation. Cathedral inflammation, it lead like due to mucin. Cathedral inflammation we already studied, it associated with the mucin. Okay, now remember rhinitis, lacrimation, and respiratory. So these are the inflammation types: cathedral inflammation, rhinitis, lacrimation, and the respiratory. Then if you go to the serous inflammation, when you will find, if you see transparent, burn, viral, hydropic, or also if you find isolated neutrophils, then it will also the example for serous inflammation. Then there is hemorrhagic inflammation. Hemorrhagic inflammation means bleeding and redness. So if there is a bleeding or the redness will be there, so it will lead to the hemorrhagic inflammation. Hemorrhagic, it means what? That blood accumulation, or blood is red in the color, so bleeding and the red. Purulent inflammation we will find when there will be the pus. Remember pus, pyemia, suppurative, increased load of neutrophils, abscess, phlegm. And you know the increased loads of the neutrophils, it's seen in bacterial inflammation. It's seen in bacterial infections. So if there is a pus, pyemia, suppurative, increased load of neutrophils, abscess, and the phlegm, so that it will be the purulent inflammation. The next is our fibrinous inflammation. Fibrinous inflammation means there is a lot of fibrin deposition. Fibrinous inflammation, lot of fibrin deposition. So it can be Croup-Busch and it can be diphthetic. It is 2 types. What types? Croup-Busch, and second is diphthetic. Croup-Busch, it simply means like when the mucous membrane, so we are talking about here the mucous membrane. So if mucous membrane, it is thin and it is loosely attached, it means Croup-Busch. And if it is thick and tightly attached mucous membrane, then we call it diphthetic inflammation. Now what if something is loosely attached? So it is easy to remove, so we can easily remove that mucous membrane. And if we will easily remove that mucous membrane, means there will be the no bleeding will be there. So no bleeding. And what will be there? White grain like deposition will be seen. So remember the white grain like deposition seen in Croup-Busch inflammation or fibrinous inflammation. Then now it is tightly attached. So tightly attached, if someone who is tightly attached to something, then it means it is hard to remove from that things. So there is hard to remove. Okay, the next is what? Bleeding will occur. So what will occur in that? Bleeding will occur. Then next is our tuberculoma, or so we have some like differentiate between the some disease because they are the looking like same thing. So if you go to the something in the option tuberculoma as well as fibrocavernous tuberculosis, so you know that in both their cavity formation will be there. Okay, so if you find that like tuberculoma versus fibrocavernous tuberculosis, cavernous plus fibrocavernous tuberculosis, it means that we have the tuberculoma. So tuberculoma, it simply means there is a round formation will be there. It simply means round formation will be there, and will be the mass like 5 centimeter mass, or round formation 5 centimeter mass. And we know that tuberculosis, it is our secondary tuberculosis, and first segment of the right lungs, it also secondary tuberculosis. So these are the keywords used for the tuberculoma. Now how to differentiate it from fibrocavernous? So fibrocavernous means cavernous. What is the meaning of cavernous? Cavernous, it simply means cavity. Cavernous, it simply means cavity. So cavity or fibrous. So fibrocavernous, cavity with dense gray walls. So cavity with dense gray walls contain the caseous mass. It means we have the fibrocavernous. Okay. Next, what we can have? Primary tuberculosis versus secondary tuberculosis. This one we already know. Primary TB versus secondary tuberculosis. This will already know that if you have primary means middle or lower lobe affected, and secondary superior or upper lobe affected. Remember the 3 components from the primary lobe: caseous necrosis, lymphanginitis, and lymphadenitis. This we already discussed. The next is about if you have fibrocavernous in the question, tuberculoma in the question, but also the acute cavernous also in the option, so what we will do? Remember, if in the then we will go for the question, what is the best for morphology, path morphology, that for if you have the path morphology, so remember, if you are doing for the path morphology, then just first check the all the option 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, then you got some idea that this question is from this part. Okay, now when you will read the option, then go for the question. After that, go for the question, so it will easy to assess all the questions for the path morphology. So first check the option, and then go for the question, so this is the easy trick for the path morphology, because there is a long questions and you will never, sometimes you will never get nothing, then you will read again, then again you will never. So better to go for first with the option, then go with the question. Okay, so if you will get acute cavernous, fibrocavernous in the question, so what does it mean? Acute cavernous and fibrocavernous if you are getting, so it simply means, if fibrocavernous we already discussed, that is cavity containing caseous mass with dense wall. So fibro means there will be the dense wall will be there, and if you will go to the acute, so acute means cavity containing caseous mass, only cavity will be there, so it will be the acute cavernous. Then there is a acute gangrenous versus acute phlegmonous. So if you are confused between the acute gangrenous and acute phlegmonous, so they both can be in the option. Also it can be ulcerophlegmonous in the option. So these three can be options, so let's differentiate them. So acute gangrenous, it means gangrene we discussed, that something discharge will be there, or lumen containing, so there is a foul smelling substance, so lumen will contain gray brown foul smelling substance, so it means it's a case of the acute gangrenous. And now there is a gangrenous, so there is a no bacterial involvement, so neutrophilic infiltration will be absent. So neutrophilic infiltration will be absent. Now what is the cause for acute gangrenous? It can be due to the ischemia of the mesenteric artery. Okay, now what about the acute phlegmonous? Phlegmonous I already told. What does it mean by phlegmonous? Phlegmonous, pus, pyemia, suppurative. We discuss here that pus, pyemia, suppurative, increased load of neutrophils, and phlegmonous. So phlegmonous, what does it mean? There is a lumen containing yellow green substance. So what is the pus? Pus is the yellow green substance. Pus is the yellow green substance. So this is the pus. Now there is a lumen contain the yellow green substance, that is phlegmonous. So phlegmonous, there is a pus formation, and lumen will be dilated lumen. We will see dilated lumen, and in acute gangrenous we see the gray brown foul smelling substance in the lumen. Here we find the pus. And if phlegmonous, I told that phlegmonous means due to bacterial infection, or there is increased load of neutrophils, that will be neutrophil infiltration will be present. Then what is the etiology? That bacterial infections, any bacterial infection it can have. Then next is ulcerophlegmonous versus phlegmonous. So remember, for the ulcerophlegmonous, there is a necrosis present in the ulcerophlegmonous. What is the necrosis will be there? And remember, whenever you find the ulcer, see in the question, there was something damage of mucosa. There is a damage of mucosa membrane. Okay, if you will find something ulcer something, then there is a damage of mucosa. So there is a defect of mucosa, means ulcerophlegmonous. Okay, defect of mucosa up to the muscular layer. Then the neutrophilic infiltration, yes, it will be present because it is phlegmonous. Now there is a no necrosis and no defect of mucosa seen in the phlegmonous. If then the question they are not giving something about mucosal difference or necrosis, then directly go for the phlegmonous, because there is only the neutrophilic infiltration will be the present. Okay, now let's go to the cyst versus abscess. What is the cyst and what is abscess? Cyst, it simply means cavity filled with the liquid substance. So what is the pus? Yellow white substance. So anything or any liquid other than yellow white substance or other than pus is the cyst. So cavity, it is a cavity filled with the pus. with the liquid other than pus. And what the liquid it can have? It can have the transparent liquid. Now abscess, cavity filled with the pus, so that will be the abscess. Now abscess can be, they can confuse in the question, it can be acute or it can be chronic. Again chronic means there is a dense fibrous wall will be there. Again the chronic again means there will be the dense fibrous wall. Okay, now acute abscess, so means cavity filled with the pus. Acute abscess means the cavity filled with the pus. There is a no dense wall, so means there is a no dense wall, it simply means there is acute abscess. And if there is a dense fibrous wall, it simply means there is a what? There is a chronic abscess. Dense wall, no dense wall, that is acute abscess. Now one question about the cardiosclerosis. So cardiosclerosis, what you can ask? Focal cardiosclerosis, diffuse cardiosclerosis, and post-infarction cardiosclerosis. We have three questions for the cardiosclerosis. So remember, for the cardiosclerosis, what is the cardiosclerosis? It means the damaged cardiac tissue. Normally we have the muscular cardiac tissue, so it will replace with the fibrous connective tissue. So if you are seeing, there is, if like in the past there will be the cardiac tissue, muscular cardiac tissue, but now due to damage of cardiac tissue, it will replaced with the help of fibrous connective tissue. So it means due to fibrous connective tissue there will be the scar formation. So that is the case of cardiosclerosis. So that is the case of the cardiosclerosis. Now what we know, that in the focal or the diffuse, focal it simply means like there is something focal. Focal means कुछ something focal, कुछ space है, like something space. So means there is a one or two area of the cardiosclerosis, or one or two area will be affected, very few area will be affected, that is focal. Diffuse means complete, numerous scattered area of the cardiosclerosis. Okay, now let's go to the one base question. So in the base question they are saying that if there is a 1/3 closed lumen vessel, so it will be diffuse cardiosclerosis. Now if there will be 2/3 closed lumen vessels, so it will be the post-infarction cardiosclerosis. So just remember it as it is. Okay, remember as it is: diffuse cardiosclerosis 1/3, post-infarction 2/3, 2/3 post-infarction, 1/3 diffuse. That's all. Okay. So remember focal and the diffuse. You should know about the cardiosclerosis. If you are seeing something like fibrous connective tissue will be there in the with the replacement of damaged connective tissue, so that is the cardiosclerosis. Okay, now let's talk about the WBC. So what about the WBC? Basophilia. Okay, tell me about the basophilia. What the function? Yes, that the function is histamine and the heparin release. So they release the histamine and the heparin. Now which connective tissue cells release the histamine and the heparin? That is mast cell. So you should also know about that, mast cell. Okay, they also release the histamine, the heparin. So basophilia, that's why basophilia can be 0%. What the normal value? 0 to 1%. That's because the function can be taken by the mast cell, so that's why they are free, they are 0% in some peoples. Now basophilia, they release the histamine and the heparin. They release histamine release during the type 1 hypersensitivity. So basophilia have the role in the type 1 hypersensitivity. Okay, record my words, that basophilia have the role in the hypersensitivity. Type 1, they have the role. I'm not saying that type 1 hypersensitivity, the basophilia will be occur. Okay, remember, for the type 1 hypersensitivity, what is the role of the basophils? So basophils have the role means they release the histamine during the type 1 hypersensitivity. Okay, then we have the eosinophilia. Eosinophilia, what does it mean by eosinophilia? Eosinophilia means there is a allergic. So remember, if you have the type 1 hypersensitivity, then there is a allergic reaction, or eosinophilia will seen in the allergic reaction. Okay, So remember the allergic or type 1 hypersensitivity, or it can be helminthic or parasitic. So who will increase in the helminthic or parasitic infection? That is eosinophils. So eosinophil will increase in case of helminthic infection or the parasitic infection. We know addition disease. So what happen in the addition disease? There will be the eosinophilia. So eosinophilia, remember addition disease. Addition disease decrease glucocorticoids. Decrease glucocorticoids. So this is the case of the eosinophilia. Add, eosinophilia means increase, or add means there is a sum. So add means eosinophilia. And what is the increase of glucocorticoids? That is, yes, that is Cushing syndrome. Yes, that's so good. Now neutrophils. Neutrophils, we know that already we discussed bacterial infection and the acute inflammation. So if we have the acute inflammation, which one will be? Neutrophils. Now what about the monocytes and the macrophage? Now monocytes and the macrophage, they will act as a phagocytosis. So these are the antigen presenting cell. Yes sir, they secrete the interleukin 1 secondary pyogens. They secrete the interleukin 1 secondary pyogen. Yes, so remember this question, they came in the previous paper, like which secrete the secondary pyogens. So that is our macrophage. So macrophage, they have the phagocytosis function, antigen presenting cells, and remember they involve in chronic inflammation. Why they are antigen presenting cells? So when they will come, antigen will come, they will give the stimulus to the lymphocytes. So first the macrophage will come, and then they will give the, they act as antigen presenting. So they will present to the lymphocytes, and then lymphocytes will come. That's why the antigen presenting cell. Then there is a lymphocytes. Lymphocytes, we know the T cell. So T cell, what the mediate? Cell mediated immunity. So here the one question is here. That's so simple question. T cell C mediated immunity. T cell C mediated immunity. Cell mediated immunity. And what is the example of for that? Type 4 hypersensitivity. So this is the case of the type 4 hypersensitivity. So T cell, cell mediated. And what about the B cell? B cell, remember it humoral immunity. B cell, it is humoral immunity. Humoral immunity. T cell, cell mediated immunity. CMI, HMI. CMI, HMI. Now we have the T cell. So T cell, it can be T helper, T killer, T suppressor, T memory. Now T cells or T helper, they involve in HIV, already discussed, H4 HIV, T killer, transplant rejection, T suppressor, and the T memory. Now the B cells, it's responsible for the humoral mediated immunity. It produces the immunoglobulins. So remember GAMED, gamed. That's cross placenta, present the tear saliva, mega acute previous infection, mega acute, and one more, that is previous infection. E for allergy, type 1 hypersensitivity, and D for it involved in the skin. Okay. Now there is two terms will be there in the questions, like what is the transudates and the exudates. So transudate simply means fluid without proteins, and exudate means fluid rich in the proteins. Okay, so just learn them. Transudates, fluid rich without protein, and exudate means excess. Exudate means excess. So fluid rich in proteins, fluid rich in protein, excess. Okay, what we will find if we have chronic or proliferative inflammations. Chronic or proliferative inflammation means there is infiltration of more lymphocytes and the macrophage. So chronic, I told, that is the lymphocytes and the macrophage. Now there is a granulomatous formation. So granulomatous formation seen in chronic or proliferative inflammation. Chronic and proliferative. Now fibrous structure formation of the fibroblast seen in fibrous structure formation, it's also seen in the chronic or proliferative inflammation. What are the examples? Like polyp, condyloma, warts, and the squaster. So you will find something like the polyp, condyloma, warts, and the squaster. Squaster formation we also seen in osteomyelitis. So remember this one also. Sequester formation will seen in osteomyelitis. Sequester formation seen in osteomyelitis. Then oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curves. Oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. Okay, so you don't need to remember anything. So remember, shifted to the left, shifted to the right. In the right, when you follow the right path, so always go for the up. When you follow the left path or the wrong path, then always you go to down. So remember what you need to remember: temperature, partial pressure of the carbon dioxide, temperature, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, 2,3 dpc, and H positive. Okay, what? H positive. So remember, decrease temperature, decrease partial pressure of carbon dioxide, decrease 2,3 dpg and H positive, and increase everything to when shifted to right. So if anything in the question, so remember, can you change it like that? If I'm saying increase H positive, can you say it increase OH negative? Yes. Can you do it like partial pressure of carbon dioxide is inversely proportional to the concentration of the carbon dioxide? So can I write it like that? There is increased concentration of carbon dioxides. Okay, so remember these four things, and two things you will always remember. So decreased temperature, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, 2,3 dpg, and H positive. Okay guys, so what have TPD? HDPT. Okay, remember from below to up. HDPT, H positive, then we have TPG, then we have partial pressure of carbon dioxide, then we have the temperature. So what we have? HDPT. Okay, okay. Okay, let's talk about the respiration. So respiration, remember, we have the Kussmaul respiration, we have the Cheyne-Stokes respiration, we have the ataxic loads of the respiration. Oh yeah. Kussmaul respiration. Kussmaul respiration means keto. K for Kussmaul, K for ketosis. K for Kussmaul, K for ketosis. So diabetic ketosis, it shows the Kussmaul respiration, and it is deep, rapid, and noisy type. Yes, sir. The next is what? Cheyne-Stokes respiration. So remember, there is a gradual, if you find the gradual increase and decrease in the respiration, so gradual increase and decrease in the respiration, that is the Cheyne-Stokes respiration. What is the lack of oxygen to the brain? Example, yes. Can morphine poisoning also shows the Cheyne-Stokes respiration? Yes, sir. So remember, morphine poisonings is MC, and you know meaning of MC, that is the most careful. But guys, morphine poisoning means Cheyne-Stokes respiration, morphine poisonings. And remember, ataxics or biot respiration. Of course, they will not give you they will not ask you what is ataxic or biot respiration. They will ask you what in the question. They will give you summary something, and history they will give, and they will in the question they will give you rapid deep respiration with short pauses between them. What is that? Rapid deep respiration with the short pauses between them. When you will see this, you will always think about what? Ataxic or the biot respiration. And example, remember. Then if you find the single inspiration with the passive expiration, then what you will find? That we will find the gasping or the agonal respiration at the time of the death. Then if you find in the question prolonged inspiration followed by short or prolonged expiration, then you will go for apneutic respiration. Infrequent and deep respiration with a difficult inspiration, then it is the stenotic inspiration. Take these respirations 5 times a time. Take these respiration 5 times a day. Okay, so just remember, or just chanting with them, so like what is the Kussmaul respiration, increase gradual and deep rapid noise, chain stroke respiration, gradual increase and decrease in respiration, ataxic or biotic rapid deep respiration with short pauses between them. So if you will go this, and remember, if you find some mnemonics here, so just make some any mnemonics. So and remember this, because these are so important, these are most important. So remember the passive expiration, gasping, short or prolonged expiration, apneustic, difficult inspiration, stenotic, short pauses between them, ataxic or biotic. Khatam, finish, tata, bye bye. Okay, the next is convection. Convection means heat transfer by the flow of air. So how the air will heat transmission? If I close the window or open the window, of course, means convection. Or ventilator, if I will open or close, open roof or open places, convection. Flow of air, remember the air. How can we get the air? Open, everything open. Okay, don't everything open. The next is evaporation. So evaporation, it means in the body temperature is less than close surrounding area. What is our body temperature? Yes, 37 point. Yes, I can hear you. 37.6 डिग्री सेल्सियस. ओह, कह रहे हो सर जी आपने नीचे तो 37 लिख रखा है, तो दैट इज 37.6 डिग्री सेल्सियस. ओके, so body temperature is less than close surrounding area, or equal temperature with high humidity. High humidity means if you find something like more than 50% humidity, if you find in any question more than 50% humidity for the croak, go for the evaporation. Just close your eyes and go for the evaporation. So body temperature less than the cloud surrounding area, so or equal temperature with high humidity, it will be more than 50%. So when we have the less body temperature, when we have the more close surrounding area, of course in India we can get the temperature like 44 degree or 40 sometimes, so that can be evaporation. Now what are the radiations? Radiation body temperature is more than close surrounding area, like in the Ukraine. Okay, in the Ukraine we are the cold country, so outside temperature will be our temperature will be high, so it will be the radiation. Okay. Now remember example for that, naked person at the room temperature. What is the room temperature? 25 degrees Celsius. Normal room temperature, optimum room temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. And what about the conduction? So conduction means all the good conductor of electricity. What does it mean by good conductor of electricity? If you don't know, then you should kill. All good conductor of electricity means they who provide the electricity, like iron rod, water, any metal rod. So they, in that all will be the conductions. And if you don't know anything, just put the soak in your water and then take a rod like iron rod and put in the water, then you will find the conduction. Then when there is granuloma, so granuloma, don't take it serious, okay? Granuloma. So granuloma, remember tuberculosis. Tuberculosis, which granuloma? Langerhans cells. Then syphilis, Guma bodies. Leprosy, Virchow cells. Rhinoscleroma, Miculis cells. So I think you can remember the tuberculosis and the syphilis. And two, I will help you. Remember the love. Spread the love. Okay, not hate. So L for leprosy, V for Virchow cells, and remember Mukul words. Mukul. So Mikul or Mukul. What I have the rhinoscleroma. Not seriously, but just for remember, I have the rhinoscleroma. Okay, so remember Mukul have rhinoscleroma. So rhinoscleroma, Miculis cells. Don't take it serious. The next you have the systemic lupus erythematosus. Systemic lupus erythematosus. What you can get? You can get like something like wire loop kidney. Then you can butterfly shaped RAS, autoimmune disease, anti-nuclear antibodies, proliferative vasculitis, periarteritis, bulbar sclerosis. Khatam. Tata, bye bye. Okay, so remember all these things and you will get every deal with every question. Remember one more thing about the systemic lupus erythematosus, that is type, which hypersensitivity? Type 1. Yes, type 1 hypersensitivity. So this is the example of the not type 1, that is the example for type 3 hypersensitivity immunocomplex. Someone was saying type 1. The next is about keywords. Okay, so there are some keyword, not so much keywords. There's I already discussed the Councilman bodies, viral hepatitis, Reed-Sternberg cells, lymphogranulomatous, or the Hodgkin lymphoma. We will study in pathphysio. Warthin-Finkelday stains seen in measles, pseudolobules liver cirrhosis, pseudolobules liver cirrhosis, pseudolobules liver cirrhosis, PLC. Then Croup lobar pneumonia. What we will see? Croup lobar pneumonia. What we will see? We will see the neutrophils. We will see the fibrin. We will see the gray or red hepatization in the Croup lobar pneumonia. Then what is the lipoma and the fibroma? Lipoma, I told that movable soft tissue mass of the lymphocytes. What is the lipoma? So lipoma mesenchyme. Remember benign tumor. So remember the benign tumor. What the benign tumor? Mesenchyme. The lipoma, movable soft tissue mass of the lymphocyte. And what is the fibroma? Fibroma, it can have the dense and hard fibroma. Movable soft fibrous tissue is our fibroma. If you find in the question something like crescent, demilune formation and semi-lunar or crescent shaped, then go for the subacute glomerulonephritis. Okay, the acute and chronic glomerulonephritis. So acute and chronic glomerulonephritis, it's due to the shock, immunocomplex. Remember, acute meat slope urine, you can find the acute or as well as subacute. Chronic glomerulonephritis, decrease of active nephrons. If there is a decrease of active nephrons will be there, then what will be the answer? Chronic glomerulonephritis. Also we will find symmetrical contracted kidney with granule surface. So what is the keyword or what the definition for chronic glomerulonephritis? Symmetrical contracted kidney with granular surface. So that is the chronic glomerulonephritis. Shrunken kidney seen in chronic pyelonephritis. Samoma body seen in meningioma. Verruca body seen in the neurinoma. Verruca body seen in neurinoma. Samoma body seen in meningioma. Are you speaking with me? Yes. If not speaking, then speak. What is the shrunken kidney? Chronic pyelonephritis. Samoma bodies, meningioma. Verruca bodies, neurinoma. Okay, guys. So what is the emphysema? Emphysema we will discuss again in the physiology. So for now, for the pathomorphology now. So this is the question actually. So there is question emphysema. You will find the baggy enlarged lungs and crunch when cut, pale and soft legs and dilated alveolar duct. So if you find some question, anything question about the baggy enlarged lungs along with the crunched when cut the lungs or lung the parts, the lungs will be the pale and the soft lungs will be there. And next a dilated alveolar duct. So dilated alveolar ducts will be dilated. So go for the emphysema. Then black area. If you find something black, so remember Instagram nervous ho gaya. What is this? Instagram nervous. So that is Instagram nervous. So that is ischemia, gangrene and the necrosis. Black area means Instagram nervous. So remember we have the ischemia, gangrene and the necrosis. So this is the case of black area. Remember for the necrosis. So this is the case of the necrosis. Remember these things. If you find some things like acute renal failures, so just vice versa them. Vice versa you mean? Just interchange. If you have find in the question acute renal failure, go for necrotic nephrosis. If you find in the question necrotic nephrosis, go for acute renal failure, and that also caused by the mercury poisoning. So just interchange that and you will find the answer. So this is just a trick. Okay, the next is about silicosis. We studied about the anthracosis, but we didn't study the silicosis. So silicosis means stone grinder, a white yellow color in the lungs, white yellow color in the lungs. So that is silicosis. What is the cavernous cavity? So okay, I have the question here. Crow question. Tumor having cavity with marked amount of the blood. That is cavernous. So cavernous means cavity. Hemangioma means there is a marked amount of the blood. So that is the case of hemangioma. What is the craniosepsis? Sepsis for the long time. So that is the craniosepsis. Bruising and the fibrosis seen in the chronic hepatitis. Bruising and the fibrosis, it's seen in the chronic hepatitis. Is I am right? Wow, what was my English? Okay, am I right? Bruising and fibrosis, that is a chronic hepatitis. Remember, there is a question. So this is the question from the dentistry, but it can be asked. So just remember, if you have the given radicular cyst, so if answer is what is the radicular cyst, so you will find the cyst found at the root of the tooth, that is the radicular cyst. Follicular cyst represented by the connective tissue and lined with multistratum squamous cell epithelium, that is the follicular cyst. So remember this question from the dentistry, they can be asked. Incomplete denaturation of hemoglobin is done by the urea. So this is the simple. Who done the incomplete denaturation hemoglobin? Urea. Who do the complete denaturation hemoglobin? Ammonia. Okay. Next is glanduloganglionic hyperplasia. So glanduloganglionic hyperplasia, it is seen in the endometrium. It's seen in the endometrium, and because the endometrium have the 8 serpentine gland, or what we can call it, corkscrew gland, or corkscrew, sorry, what is this, corkscrew gland, and C or S shaped gland. So glanduloganglionic hyperplasia seen in endometrium, and blood vessels rupture in the endometrium during the menstrual phase. Okay, then there is one more two question there about the alimentary cachexia and the cancerous cachexia. So remember, for the alimentary cachexia, that if there is abnormal loss of the weight due to alimentary problem, and cancerous cachexia means there is abnormal loss of the weight due to any disease, so that is cancerous cachexia. Okay, there is a two questions, like same questions, but there is a little difference in the questions. So if you find the Bassi-Dove disease, or sorry, hashimototheritis, so there is a lymphocytic infiltration in hashimototheritis. There is a lymphocytic infiltration. So remember, there is a diffuse infiltration by the lymphocyte and the plasma cells. Then what will be your answer? That is okay, yes, right, that is hashimototheritis. It is leading to the formation of lymphatic follicles. It's formation of the lymphatic follicles, and there is a diffuse. So remember the diffuse. So diffuse means hashimototheritis. If there is a focal infiltration, means Bassi-Dove disease. That is Bassi-Dove disease. If you don't know anything, okay. So if they will copy paste these questions, so remember Hashimoto or Bassi-Dove. So if in the option there will be the Bassi-Dove, so there is a no option for the hashimototheritis. So but if there is a answer will be hashimototheritis, then there is a both option, there will be the both option. But if answer will be the Bassi-Dove disease, like if they will asking for the focal infiltration, so there is a no option of hashimototheritis in the questions. Okay, then one disease here that we didn't discuss before, that is nephrolithiasis. What is the nephrolithiasis? Oh, I already wrote it. That is, okay, say that is kidney stones. That is kidney stone, yes, right. Then it causes the severe pain, and what the treatment? Remember treatment, promidol plus atropine. What is the promidol? Promidol is atropine. Promidol is atropine. No, it is analgesic. It is analgesics. What is the complication for the nephrolithiasis? Complication for the nephrolithiasis, hydronephrosis. Hydronephrosis, you remember this because important. Hydronephrosis you will never find in the question, but if you read the question carefully, then you will get it. This is for like who don't read the question. Okay, so nephrolithiasis complication, hydronephrosis. Nephrolithiasis complication, hydronephrosis. Pyelonephritis. Pyelonephritis. What is the pyelonephritis? Life threatening conditions like if caused mainly by the bacterial infections, and where it affects in the kidney. So it involves the tubules, renal, pelvic and the interstitium part of the kidney. It can be acute and it can be chronic. So it can be acute and it can be chronic. So remember, acute means there is a sudden and the severe kidney infections, and there will be the swelling of the kidney will be there. And remember, for the acute pyelonephritis, that it's caused by the ascending infection of the urinary tract. Ascending infection, or you can say from heterogeneous spread of the systemic infection. So remember, if you find something like that it caused by the ascending infection, or in the question they will give you something ascending infection of the urinary tract, so what will be your answer? Acute pyelonephritis. Then chronic means chronic if the attack will be repeated, or there is a chronic recurrent infections like secondary to the urinary reflex, or if there is a obstruction in the genitourinary tract, so this it will be the chronic. And also remember, we in the question they will give you something like repeating attack, so that is the case of chronic pyelonephritis. Okay, then we have vesico-uterine reflex. What is the vesico-uterine reflex? Vesico-uterine reflex, that is the retrograde flow of the urine from the bladder to the kidney, that is the vesico. So if there is retrograde flow of the urine from bladder to the kidney, so that is which reflex? Vesico-uterine reflex. Kaposi sarcoma, it associated with AIDS. Kaposi sarcoma, it associated with the AIDS. Okay, then the two terms, that is hypospadia and the epispadia. Hypo means niche or below. Hypo means niche and below or inferior. Epi means upper or superior. Okay, so opening of urethra on the inferior surface of the penis, that is the hypospadia, and why it is due to failure of the urethra folds to the close. Remember this if you want. Epispadia, opening of the urethra on the superior surface of the penis. So opening on the superior surface. So if there is a superior surface, that will be epispadia. If there will be inferior surface affected, so that will be the hypospadia. Did you understand? Yes. Okay, thank you. Next is soft tissue tumor. We already discussed, but remember lipoma and the liposarcoma. Let's discuss it more. So this is the benign tumor of adipose tissue. चल मत चला, पता है, ठीक है. Most common benign soft tissue tumor in the adults. Malignant tumor of the adipose tissue is a liposarcoma. Okay. Lipoblast is the characteristic cells for the liposarcoma. Okay guys, so I'm going to put the questions for these like confusing, like if you have some things like cavernous and some Hashimoto, Basido disease. So I'm going to put the every questions on the Instagram story, so you can follow me there. If you don't follow, then you will not see the questions. Okay, I'm just joking. So you will find the all the questions on my Instagram story about all these questions, and I will discuss. So check my story, Instagram story @medicmukul, and you can search I think Mukul Vath, so you will find there. Okay, so thanks for watching. So this is our complete, and don't forget to like, share and the subscribes. You are watching without subscribe, that's too bad, so do it. Make the red button to the gray. Okay, all the best, and don't stress this time. Okay, don't stress this time, because this time if you do the stress, of course you will lose your marks. don't stress. In the last time, don't stress, just revise. Everything depends on your revision. All the best. Bye bye, take care. See you in the next video.